So, you want to know who I am? Let's talk. I've never been a person who plans. I've never been a person who thinks about tomorrow. I've always been quite frivolous, go with the flow kind of person. But you know what? Things change and life forces you to change things around. When I finished school, I didn't really have an idea of what I wanted to do. I was just at home, and everybody else in life is at home as well, trying to plan for tomorrow, not really knowing what to do. It's a normal time. But the problem is, I had no plan of what to do at all. Every day, waking up, doing the same things, I really had no plan in mind at all. After a year of sitting at home and not doing anything, I finally got a job. At this job, I learned skills. I started off as a garden worker. Doing the garden, cleaning it up, using the rakes, cleaning up the leaves, throwing them in the bin, the normal things. Eventually, I got to work on painting a room. A room nearly the same size as mine right now. A few mistakes, left some bubbles on the wall. Like, they had to scrape it off and start all over again. But I was trying. I was just trying to do whatever. To the point where I was doing the wall and they didn't have to say anything. My first day, so luck was on my side, I guess. You could just give it a luck at that point. As I'm going to work every day, I'm hearing new things, learning new things. And there was so many things I learned that I probably couldn't even say in this video. But firstly, I had to see how they make the cement. I had to stir it, and I saw how they made it. And eventually I got to make it myself. Every little thing that I got to do, I wanted to do it. I got to tiling. My first tile, I think I broke it. Admittedly, I must have broke it. I think, because I made a lot of mistakes in the beginning. I mean, it was embarrassing. But I mean, what can you say? You were learning. I don't think I got to work that day. I just had to sit there and watch. But you realize there's 60 more, 80 more, maybe even hundreds more tiles you got to put down. And not every single tile is going to be cut the same. And sometimes you're going to have to, and sometimes you have to think about the tiles that are going to break. Sometimes you got to think about the tiles that you may not need. Paint tools for different sections. A wall, you use a roller. For the doors, you use a brush. Other times you would use a small roller. I mean, there's so many things. You gotta think about it, everything that hasn't even happened yet, because anything can happen, right? And those are just basic things. But those basic things help me build a great foundation for where and why I want to do what I want to do now. I hated blue collar work. Again, I was lazy and I didn't really have any ambition in life. But once I got into the job, this is actually amazing. What I learned there, I'll take with me anywhere I go. But to be honest with you, after that job finished, as much as I was learning, I still wasn't developing some internal things. And those things kind of spoke for themselves, also broke. I ended up back where I started the year before. That was a very humbling experience. Yeah, it was. Started applying. Whatever I could download where you can find a job, I had the app. I had the notifications on. For 5, nearly 6 months, I was just jobless. I did have a certain job in that time, but even there was no profitable income. So what can you do? What can you do? And I remember it. One day I was in my car, dropped somebody off. The feelings were tense, the emotions were high. 4 to 5 months, nearly 6 months of sitting, waking up every day, going to these jobs. No result. I'm not saying everything should be handed to me on a silver platter, but you would think I'm showing up. Nothing was showing out. The disappointment was much in myself. You feel like you've disappointed your parents and those around you. It's intense. In that moment, a thought came to me. Wait, I did construction for more than a year. I gained some skills. What am I doing? I was sitting in somebody's driveway, parking, whatever you call it, for like 20 minutes, having this emotional roller coaster. What am I doing here? I went home. I woke up the next morning and I started looking for construction jobs. It was maybe like a 2, 3, 4 week process. Maintenance, whatever it was, I had to get back into the field. I wanted to grow more. Fortunately, the jobs that I wanted to get were either too far, again, I didn't have enough money, or they required different things like a certificate or more experience than just a year or two. Let me go to some trade schools because I want to get back into construction. Even if I'm studying and it's not a job, I'm learning more about my field. But I realized the fees were too much. The 4-month courses, expensive. The 1-year courses, more expensive than that. There was nothing I could do. I ended up going to some learnerships. As you know, at learnerships, it's an institution where you go to study, also gain the work experience needed for when you go out into that market. Kind of can be a win-win depending on how you look at it. First one I went to didn't really go through, but I didn't stop. We went to this place. Funny enough, we found this learnership to a little interview. Facebook 2 months, I waited. I tried to get some work in those 2 months just so I could have some money for transport for the first month, because again, you do get paid at those learnerships, but you gotta wait that month until the end of the month. And I didn't have enough to do anything. Been there for the last 5-6 months now. I don't just say that to say that that's the end of it all. I came up with a plan for myself. Something just switched in me. It took a few weeks. Nothing happens overnight. But in those few weeks, I really started to change things around. There's still areas that I'm working on. Looking at things now, it's a lot different. So, where does the company come into all of this? Well, of course, in that car, at that time, I made a plan for myself. And I probably won't go into all detail anything about putting it out there. Really came up with something for myself. And I would love to share it with the world in a way that works for me, and a way that can work to inspire anyone that watches this video. Whatever you're doing, think about it. Whatever it is, think carefully about it. The friends, the choices, because they'll come back to you. Sometimes they don't, but sometimes they do. It's 50-50 sometimes, you know? But why gamble? When you get your second chance, make the most of it. Make the most of it. Is this my second chance? I think so. I want to make the most of it.